Okay, so today on Dialysis Bike Tours, we're taking a spin around Lake Hollingsworth in Lakeland, Florida. Many years ago, when I was an architectural history nut and a Frank Lloyd Wright nut, I made a pilgrimage here to Polk County, Lakeland, to drive around this lake and look at all the amazing Frank Lloyd Wright designed buildings at Florida Southern College. And the buildings are really neat. They are just like, you know how you walk into a public building that just kind of has such a neat style to it, with like really tall glass windows and a view and all kinds of stuff, and it's really just neat to sort of sit there and look at this structure that's surrounding you. Well, Florida Southern College is a really neat place, and you can even take a little side trip, you Polk County dialysis people, and just take a walk around Lake Hollingsworth. It's I forget how far it is. I've been pedaling around it in circles. I think it's like a 2-mile loop, maybe a mile and a half. I forget. Anyhow, we're just waving hello to you, and we're reminding you that if you're the family around a dialysis patient, there's so many cool things you can do. There are so many things that you can do to make the life of the dialysis patient more happy and interesting. You don't have to be worried. I'm telling you. I want to tell you the story of the lady that was on dialysis for 34 years in St. Petersburg. And then she just moved up north to be with her relatives and was doing dialysis somewhere else. 34 years doing fine on dialysis. People said to her, "How come you didn't get a kidney transplant?" And she's like, "Look, I trust this good machine and these nice people better than having myself cut open and having somebody else's body parts put in me and then having to take these anti-rejection medications." Now, that doesn't mean that getting a kidney transplant is wrong, but it really helped my emotions to hear that somebody was actually on dialysis for 34 years and still doing fine. So I'm just telling you that as the family members around a dialysis patient, because like you just kind of got to settle in the groove, you know, on the dialysis thing for a little while until you figure out whether you're going to do a transplant and stuff like that. So there's so many great things that you can do. One, you can check out recipes and figure out what your loved one really likes, and like come up with 3 favorite dialysis friendly recipes and just like stick them on the wall and make them all the time. You can bring the grandkids and family around, and when we do the Family Honesty Workshop, we work on 3 things: tragedies, joys, and dreams. And you can make tiny little recordings of your loved one, and they can tell their tragedies, because we learn from one another's, scary or embarrassing things. A little tragedy story to help the kids understand what their parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles have been through. And 3 joys, like I had a mom that was an RN nurse educator, and she was really good at inspiring people to learn stuff. I've been a learner since I was a half a year old, a learner and communicator because of my mom. And so tragedies and joys and dreams and visions. You can tell little stories about, well, I'm really happy that I lived in San Francisco for 4 years. It was the most beautiful city. Or, you can pick out joys. And then you can pick out dreams and hopes and goals and visions. I mean, when you find out that your loved one or your mom or your auntie or uncle who's on dialysis has always wanted to be a part of, a child care center or something like that, hey, you're on dialysis, but you got a lot of time during the week, and you can do things. You can go to school and learn stuff. You can, practice music. You can go and help out with kids at a daycare center. There's a lot of things, a lot of goals and dreams that you can actually end up doing because you actually have a little bit more time and a little bit more time to think and focus because you're sitting in a chair on dialysis for 15 hours a week. And man, it gives you a lot of time to think. So anyhow, all the best to you from Dialysis Bike Tours and all you people that work in the dialysis clinics and do that whole life. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm telling you, you people on dialysis, you get to be connected with some of the nicest, most patient, and kind people that I've ever met collectively in a place. I mean, hospitals are great, teachers are great, et cetera, but man, you really have to be a kind and organized person if you're going to do this, dialysis team work. So if you're on dialysis, you get connected with some amazing, really nice people. I like to joke around and say, okay, I would gladly replace some of my family members with some of the people that work in the dialysis clinic. Ha ha ha, if that was like legal and reasonable. Because those people that work in the dialysis clinics are just such great people. Whoa!